This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Donald Trump was in Japan, about 7,000 miles from home, over what was Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, a holiday during which we are to solemnly commemorate the sacrifices of those military men and women who gave their lives in service to this country in combat. And while over there, Donald Trump did what Donald Trump seems to love to do. He took the side of a brutal murderer and dictator in an attack against fellow American and lifelong public servant Joe Biden. Because Donald Trump has no honor, Donald Trump has no respect, Donald Trump has no loyalty. Donald Trump is a septuagenarian miscreant dunce whose idea of leadership and strength lies in the schoolyard tactics of a 6-year-old. You see, on Saturday, he tweeted, quote, "North Korea fired off some small weapons, which disturbed some of my people and others, but not me. I have confidence that Chairman Kim will keep his promise to me," and also smiled when he called Swamp Man Joe Biden a low IQ individual and worse. Perhaps that's sending me a signal. Only, this was the second time he tweeted this. You see, 3 hours earlier, he had tweeted the same thing, except he's too stupid to have spelled Joe Biden's name correctly the first time. After all, it's a tough one, being 5 letters and all. Anyway, before we talk about just how disgraceful this is, let me play for you the moment where Trump doubled down on his un-American behavior and repeated it when asked by a reporter about it at a presser. I'm going to play for you the entire question and his entire meandering nonsense answer, which totals about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So for those of you who would rather not endure the sound of his stupid voice, you can skip ahead.
Mr. President, follow up on North Korea. You tweeted about North Korea yesterday. Do you believe that they violated UN resolutions with the short-range missile launch? And does it give you pause at all to be appearing to side with a brutal dictator instead of with a fellow American, the former Vice President Joe Biden?
Well, Kim Jong-un made a statement that Joe Biden is a low IQ individual. He probably is, based on his record. I think I agree with him on that. But at the same time, my people think it could have been a violation, as you know. I view it differently. I view it as a man, perhaps he wants to get attention, and perhaps not. Who knows? It doesn't matter. All I know is that there have been no nuclear tests. There have been no ballistic missiles going out. There have been no long-range missiles going out. And I think that someday we'll have a deal. I'm not in a rush. Tremendous sanctions being put on the country of North Korea. And again, Kim Jong-un understands the unbelievable economic potential that country has. It's located between Russia and China on one side and South Korea on the other. And it's all waterfront property. It's a great location, as we used to say in the real estate business. And I think he sees that. And I have to tell you one other country. I really believe that Iran would like to make a deal. And I think that's very smart of them. And I think that's a possibility to happen also.
But in terms of criticism that you're sort of supporting a dictator instead of an American vice president?
Well, when I look at what's been done by our vice president and the president, when I look at the horrible Iran deal that they made, look what happened since I terminated the Iran deal. Look what has happened to Iran. Iran, when I first came into office, was a terror. They were fighting in many locations all over the Middle East. They were behind every single major attack, whether it was Syria, whether it was Yemen, whether it was individual smaller areas, whether it was taking away oil from people. They were involved with everything. Now they're pulling back because they've got serious economic problems. We have massive, as you know, massive sanctions and other things. I mean, we just said the other day, steel, copper, different elements of what they used to sell. The oil is essentially dried up. And I'm not looking to hurt Iran at all. I'm looking to have Iran say, no nuclear weapons. We have enough problems in this world right now with nuclear weapons. No nuclear weapons for Iran. And I think we'll make a deal. I think Iran, again, I think Iran has tremendous economic potential. And I look forward to letting them get back to the stage where they can show that. I think Iran, I know so many people from Iran. These are great people. It has a chance to be a great country with the same leadership. We're not looking for regime change. I just want to make that clear. We're looking for no nuclear weapons. If you look at the deal that Biden and President Obama signed, they would have access, free access to nuclear weapons where they wouldn't even be in violation in just a very short period of time. What kind of a deal is that? So we can't have that. Plus, there were many other things they did that were very bad. So I don't take sides as to who I'm in favor, who I'm not. But I can tell you that Joe Biden was a disaster. His administration with President Obama, they were basically a disaster when it came to so many things, whether it was economy, whether it was military defense, no matter what it was. They had a lot of problems. So I'm not a fan.
So first, he did his best to avoid answering the actual question. But there was no way to avoid that he literally said that he smiled when a mass murderer, an enemy of our country, denigrated the former vice president of the United States. He also just brushes over the fact that he's letting the same killer off the hook for once again violating UN Security Council resolutions, in a slap to the faces of his own national security advisor and Secretary of State. What does it say about this devious dipshit that he has more words of kindness, agreement, support, and encouragement for our enemies than he does for Americans? Enemies who actively threaten us militarily and are attacking the very fundamentals of our nation and democratic process. And further, what does it say about the Republican Party that only the scantest of a handful of them are speaking out to rebuff this unprecedented, reprehensible behavior? I will tell you what it means. It means that this jackass needs to go, and his party needs to go with him. We have serious issues that gravely impact the lives of Americans all over the nation, and we need serious leaders to address them. Playing cozy with dictators and killers doesn't better any single one of our lives. And hopefully, people are starting to wake up to the damage that's being done while the Republican Party is asleep at the wheel, and willfully so. And don't get me wrong, I don't expect Trump to not be a dick about Democrat opponents. I mean, he's such a petty little boy that he blocked me on Twitter, and I'm a nobody. What I do expect from him, though, is to not tweet to the world announcing his unparalleled confidence in a malign military threat to the planet who just fired off threatening and deadly rockets, and simultaneously announce his bemusement that he and the same malign global threat have some kind of sick secret handshaking relationship regarding their contempt and hatred for a former vice president of his own nation. But I know that's a lot to expect from this president. And hey, one more thing. I just launched channel memberships, and I would love it if you would consider joining for $4.99 a month and help me produce the content that I do. For that, there are some great rewards, and if you're interested, you can click the join button next to the subscribe button. Again, thanks a lot.